Hello and welcome to Third Act Film. Today, we're at it again. We're going to try and save another franchise who, in our eyes, we think it has a lot of potential.
True.
That is Fantastic Four. That is Todd James.
Hello.
I am James Forbes.
Hello, James Forbes.
All right, let's begin. Now, Todd, if you want to get the ball rolling.
As you know, James, and as some people, long-term listeners, will know, I actually didn't hate Fantastic Four.
Weirdly, yeah.
I thought I'm that guy who thought it was actually pretty decent. Definitely flawed, but yeah. Now the biggest thing that it could have benefited from, and that they need to do in the sequels, is to have some action.
Oh my God, yes. There was
Right?
no action, just talking
There was one
and building.
There was one fight at the end, which was garbage, and other than that,
Do you think if you had the magical ability to re-edit that film,
yeah,
and then say when they're younger, and then but they do. I was trying to think, how can you fit in an action sequence anywhere? Because they don't get their abilities until halfway through the film.
so what you do
Go for it.
is in 1 year later,
Yeah.
you know, that moment that everyone hated,
The moment where the studio stepped in and said,
Yeah,
"All right, we're
yeah.
finishing this."
you cut to them out as the task force, doing something, taking down a South American dictatorship,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. What about all of the scenes we saw with the Thing?
You mean the scenes we didn't see
Yeah.
from the trailers, like him being dropped into a war zone and stuff? Yeah.
If we had seen that with our eyes instead of
Yeah.
being told that happened, that would have been cool.
Yeah. Something else. This kind of links to this. That's why I'm saying it. Show their powers. Really show it.
Yeah.
Because
get
we got
around
no
some-
action, we didn't really get to see what they could do.
Yeah, the Invisible Woman, I'm like, so you're invisible and you have a shield?
Like, you know the old
And you can fly?
monster kind of tale, the Invisible Man?
Yeah.
That's like a whole franchise on its own from one person who can turn invisible.
One special
Surely you
effect.
can come up with one moderately interesting subplot
Yeah.
where she does some detective work
Yeah.
or something, or even her like force field powers. Get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's tactically useful
Yeah.
in a fight situation,
Yeah.
which they would inevitably find themselves in.
Yeah. You're totally right, yeah.
Just some sort of or why not even just have them busting out of the facility?
Have some sort of challenge that they then have to face, but with their abilities. Like a challenge, yeah, totally. If they have to fight against some nameless soldiers, they didn't have any of that.
I mean, and like people.
In fact, who did they fight? In
Doom-ish.
Fantastic Four, they only had a fight with one guy.
Yeah.
And it took all four of them.
And it wasn't very good.
And it was very good.
Like, people malign sort of a couple of like Marvel films and stuff, saying, "Oh, there's always just an army for them to take down." That's because that's cool, right? That's because them fighting one guy is not interesting.
I guess Fantastic Four is my suggestion. They need like a Hydra kind of thing. They need some aim or the Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Faceless, so the Chitauri.
Yes.
Like-
They need
like
some
some-
faceless
Aliens,
mass army.
robots, zombies, something like that.
Yeah, just people that we can go kill those. We like that.
Do you remember the report came out while they were making Fantastic Four that the Doom bots were going to be in it, i.e. Doctor Doom's robot army,
That would have been cool.
right? Just
Yeah.
have them smashing up Doom bots.
Although I don't know at what point they would have explained he made an army of robots, but
Well, that's something else. I feel like I'm getting through these points pretty quickly, but
no, carry on. It's good. It's good play.
stick a bit closer to the comics.
Oh,
I am not like
nerd.
I'm not like a touchy Fantastic Four fan. In fact, I've never actually read a solo Fantastic Four title. I read plenty of stuff that have them in as characters.
They're everywhere, really.
Yeah, but I, like the vast majority of the world, have never read a Fantastic Four comic.
Yeah. But
And even I want Doctor Doom to not be some guy playing Assassin's Creed in a basement. Like, he isn't the idea of a dictator whose people actually like love and also fear him.
yeah,
like, isn't that way more interesting?
You know, they have left it open for a Doctor Doom. Like I know he was always. No one called him specifically Doctor Doom except for Sue, who once said, "All right, calm down, Doctor Doom." But that was as a joke. But no one ever gave him the name and title of Doctor Doom. So
his dad.
this is If they could somehow, they could say actually, he was just some guy whose name escapes me, Toby Kebbell.
Yeah.
And this is the real Doom. They could get away with that later on.
Sure.
So you want it to be more comic accurate.
I think what I mean more is like draw a bit more from it. We are well past the era of films that use the name and the skin of comic book characters but kind of do completely their own thing.
Yeah.
We're well past that. Now it's, embracing it. Embracing Reed Richards inventing ridiculous stuff. It's... Yeah.
I've got a point.
Go.
Decide what tone you want.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Now, with the beginning of Fantastic Four, it was a good tone. It was tonally good for half of the film.
A good half, yeah.
That's the nicest thing I can say. Now, I feel as though they needed to decide, how is this going to fit in with X-Men, and how is this tone gonna be beneficial to it all? Were they going to make the horror, almost borderline horror version of superhero films, because they made it look into tragic accidents and such.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been great if they'd continue with it. So perhaps revisiting that, perhaps for future installments, which apparently, it's still going on,
Apparently it's going to happen.
But by the time this video goes up, it's probably cancelled.
Yeah.
And then back on, and then cancelled.
Sure.
So, that's my point, Keep the tone the same and don't change it halfway through.
At least commit.
Yeah,
so
commit.
The people who like whatever, whatever you've committed to will enjoy the whole thing.
I mean, it's not our money being thrown down the pan.
Absolutely not.
Because it's yours.
Yeah.
Commit.
Something else, make it smaller in scale. And what I mean by that is a film can either, to be dramatic, it can either increase the stakes by having like something bigger to fight, or it can increase... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or it can increase the drama and make it more dramatic. Like Civil War, for example.
Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, the world wasn't at stake in Civil War. No. But boy, was it dramatic.
Yeah.
And up until the end 20 minutes, Fantastic Four is not a big film. It's not about the end of the world. It's not about, an apocalyptic event.
No.
And then suddenly it is. And everyone's like, sorry, how?
Yeah.
Sorry, why?
Let me catch up with that, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes out of nowhere and it's resolved quickly. If it had just been more of like a minor squabble, not a minor squabble, but you know what I mean, like a not.
More of a...
It felt, if you're going to make a story that isn't about that, obviously if you go for Galactus, then that's a different deal, but I think this actually more matches with your keep the tone consistent.
Yeah. I do think eventually they can get to Galactus when they want to do the bigger threat. We've just seen with the X-Men new trilogy, or whatever you want to call it, that they were able to do the drama with films such as Days of Future Past and First Class, and cap it off with a big imposing threat. For that, it worked well as a trilogy, seen together as a trilogy worked well. If with Fantastic Four, if they're able to show the drama first and do a whole film based on the drama, and you've got 4 distinct characters. It literally is all about the characters.
Yeah.
Like the powers,
the family relationship.
Yeah, the powers are a reflection on their personalities.
Yeah.
And that never came across. And if they're able to, Johnny Storm's a hothead, but in this one, he builds stuff and races a car.
Makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, if they can, get the tone, get the threat, either their relationships falling apart or their bigger threat about to kill the world.
Yeah. Or even if they stuck to the comics and had
it all comes back
and had Doctor Doom, like that's just one minor country halfway around the world that maybe no one cares about.
Yeah.
Like that's not, maybe they could even point that out. They go out there, sort the situation out, and come back, and everyone's like, "Where? What country? I never even heard of that. I don't care."
What do you mean? Like go go there and
Well, so
how do you mean
imagine-
sort it out?
Well, I don't know. They sort out the
Dictatorship.
Yeah, and they're like, stop it. And then they come back and the
no
general
one cares.
public are like, what country?
Oh, right.
Latvia. Like,
Say that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one more.
Go for it.
Make it R-rated.
What?
Right.
Why?
So,
Oh my
this
god.
film, in my opinion, was
that
pretty
was
close.
borderline
Yeah,
R-rated.
and there were the bit when he was walking down the hallway blowing
That
up
was-
people's heads. That, come on.
Yeah. That's traumatic.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
The biggest argument against making it R-rated is that it's not going to make as much money. Well, I got news.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four didn't make any money. Fox have been the first studio to go, we're not afraid to do it.
Wow.
Wait,
After a lot of pushing.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
They
but
weren't
they're still the
open-handed.
first.
Yeah.
In this,
Yeah,
you know,
but they're
recent
competing
era.
against Marvel, who's owned by Disney.
True. But yeah, the tone that they were going for in the first half of the film,
Yeah, yeah.
if they'd
Keep
committed,
coming back to this.
and
isn't it?
imagine if you could just see the Thing punch somebody's head off, right? Or Johnny Storm burning people alive, or the Invisible Woman like creating a little force field inside somebody's head, or like halfway through their body and just splitting them in two.
all of that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how we didn't mention Mr. Fantastic
Or
because
because he could just reach really far to punch someone, like just round a corner.
yeah. Or he could just like wrap himself around them and choke them out like a
Right?
boa constrictor. Yeah.
Like a boa constrictor.
No, I've got to disagree with this one. I'm
Yeah?
sorry. I'm so sorry, but not everything has to be R-rated.
It doesn't.
This title doesn't need to be R-rated. They could have gone with the horror thing as a 12A horror because it's still superheroes and there's still good guys and bad guys. And
I should say, we're saying R and 12A, which is
Sorry,
the
yeah.
American. And with
Yeah.
R is, for English people that don't know, is 15 or 18.
Yeah.
And for American people that don't know, 12A is basically PG-13.
Yeah. But I feel like they can do still a kid-friendly version. And for the level of what is R-rated is a bit flexible.
Yeah, but if you're going to make it horror
You want them to
and
go all the
horrible,
way.
you might as well.
I think it isn't necessary. Plus, Fox has got a challenge already. Whenever they introduce Deadpool with the rest of the X-Men, and he is swearing and blinding,
Mm-hmm.
how are they going to be like, can you not swear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They should make a mutant whose power it is that whenever someone swears, they sneeze, so you
Yeah.
don't hear it.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would not. It would
Yeah.
not be cool.
Yeah. Another point I have is how, a kind of train of thought of how this is going to link.
Sure.
How is this going to link in with the X-Men world? Because we all know that's what they're ultimately aiming for.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't. None of this really makes sense. There was no mention of X-Men or mutants or anyone with powers in this, and the whole negative zone discussion. There was no bigger implications of that. That's never been mentioned in X-Men or hinted towards.
Yeah.
There's no link between these two franchises, so if they ever decide to, they haven't left themselves open to it at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the second one, I think, honestly, the best solution for Fantastic Four is to start again, sadly.
Again.
Again. Start again, and just make it as if it was an X-Men film.
Taking what you just said, this wasn't something I thought, but I've just thought of it.
Go on.
Why don't they do it like they did with First Class, as like a period piece?
Yes.
And then the
Do it that
Fantastic
it was
Four
back in time. So then...
back in time.
I can't believe I said
Yeah,
that.
or like back when the comics first came out.
Yeah.
60s, I would
They'll
hazard
be
a
a lot
guess.
older now, wouldn't they? But no one ages in X-Men, so...
Well, don't cross it over with the X-Men just yet.
I think it eventually has to cross over. It will be cool. It's a card that Fox has and will play.
Yeah.
It's all about crossovers now, and if they were able to do a good Fantastic Four, people would be excited to see that.
I think, though, they would rather do some good Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic Four name now has been dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
It is nothing. It is detrimental to a crossover with X-Men now.
But you can add Wolverine to anything, and that's extra.
Wolverine and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Wolverine versus Fantastic Four.
Okay, I'd watch it. I can't say I wouldn't. Have the Fantastic Four as Apocalypse's horsemen.
Yeah.
Whoa! Why has no one done
yeah.
that in the comics? They probably haven't. We just don't know.
They probably have.
But that would be great, right?
Yeah, he comes back and is Charles Xavier who takes the horseman.
What? Why don't we pitch that as the crossover? That would be a great idea.
Yeah. And then they kind of defeat them, and then they come to their senses like, oh, what was
We
that
were being controlled with our minds.
Oh dear. And then our review will be, I don't like how they were mind controlled. Probably indeed. All right, well, with that note, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to share in the comments below how, what do you want to see in the next Fantastic Four? How do you think they can necessarily save the franchise?
Or do you think they should just start again, as James seems to think?
Yeah,
just
I think maybe the
time,
solution.
reboot a clock.
Reboot it or somehow X-Men Days of Future Past it. Like soft reboot.
That worked because it had been 15 years. The franchise. You can't
This
just
is
be
like immediately.
Soft reboot time.
Yeah. Well, you can have Reed Richards accidentally creates a time machine, or
It's happened.
or he that they're actually in a different dimension, and then they get into the X-Men dimension, into the X-Men's universe, and they're like, "Oops, how do we get here?" And then they're like, "Oh, better live this life now. Let's forget everything that happened before, right?" Yes. Say that again. All right. Let's end this video.
Yeah, good idea.
Thanks for listening, guys. Do share your comments below. I've been James Forbes.
And I've been Todd James.
Bye.
Oh no, it's raining. like, oh no, my powers. Yeah.
My fire, please. And the Captain America's are like, hold it. Hold it.
Only a super powerful character wearing the Infinity Gauntlet would come and say, oh, it's Adam Warlock. Yeah.